gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts. That is the name of my store. It's also the amount of electricity needed for time travel. And that's how you're going to feel when you step into my store. You're going to feel like you step back into 1985. My store is all about the comics, toys, and nostalgia. If you have that nostalgia itch that needs to be scratched, come to my store. It's on 601 North Main Street, Borger, Texas. Again, I am 1.21 gigawatts, comics, toys, and nostalgia. The greatest toy and comic shop in a 50-mile radius in the great panhandle of this great state of Texas.
1.21 gigawatts.
Hello, Professor Stevens. Feeling better?
Where am I?
In my home, Professor Stevens. Some of my friends found you unconscious in the ravine.
Who are you?
My name is Trakker. Matt Trakker.
Matt Trakker? I've heard you.
I hope the reports were good.
Better than good. You're supposed to help people in trouble. And boy, could I use some help now.
So could a lot of people, Professor Stevens. However, my interests lie in rather unusual situations.
Then maybe you'd better look at this. It's a question of life or death for millions of people.
All right, I won again.
I hate this game. I quit.
Okay, T-Bob, let's play spies and see what Dad's doing. T-Bob, go to motor scooter mode.
Saving technique. The wrong people could use it for destruction.
Not if I can help it. Give me the best agents for this mission.
We got a submission, T-Bob.
Personnel selected. Brad Turner, motorcycle and helicopter pilot, vehicle code name, Condor. Bruce Sato, mechanical engineer, mechanical specialist, vehicle code name, Rhino. Alex Sector, computer and communications expert, Rhino Systems commander. Hondo McLean, weapons specialist, tactical strategist, vehicle code name, Firecracker. Dusty Hayes, auto and marine stunt driver, vehicle code name, Gator. Buddy Hawks, master of disguise, intelligence expert, Firecracker co-pilot.
M.A.S.K headquarters.
M.A.S.K is gonna need us. That's because your throws are so bad, T-Bob.
Well, all right. I'm just waiting for Big Stu to unmute himself. Welcome everybody.
There you go, man.
Hey man, welcome everybody to another PLUNGEcast Toys Collecting Unboxing Show. Today we're talking about M.A.S.K, and right away we got a little comment from our friend Rico, who joined us last night on the Kiwis and Comic Books show as a co-host. Yeah, I didn't even know they had that until I watched this the other day when we decided to do this. Talk about M.A.S.K. I'm not much aware about it. I think it showed it. Like, I mean, you know, Rico saw it. He's a Kiwi, so I know they showed it in New Zealand. It's been like whatever when it was first showed in New Zealand. That's how long it's been since I've actually seen it. Except for like maybe Wednesday is when I decided to do M.A.S.K. One of the things is I actually got this a few years back. I mean, a couple years back, and I this is a mask, right?
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
like that one right up there. And you know, because I pick up whatever I can get my hands on with this action figure, you know. And
I don't know which one that is.
well, when you look at the top here on the left, left of the screen or right of the screen, it's on the big screen. You can see the
Right.
yellow guy there. So I'm not sure the character that is, but I do have the mask wiki open, so hopefully we can figure out who's who. But one of the things that really fascinated me about this is the PSA. I think apart from like the introduction, the PSA that Rico mentions here, that they had this really cool at the end of it. You know, there's a really cool PSA about, you know, just advice to kids.
Right.
I don't think they do that anymore, but I mean, you know, our PSA, of course, is a personal service announcement. You know, kids, what do you do when you get bullied? Stuff like that, you know. You know, if somebody's like strangers talking to you, what do you do? You know.
Well,
Stuff.
what it was is in the 80s when they were doing the TV shows that centered around a toy, it was essentially a huge advertisement. And you really weren't allowed to do a huge advertisement just for 30 minutes. You had to have some sort of a lesson, some sort of a life lesson.
Right.
And so at the end of the episodes, they would put some sort of a life lesson. G.I. Joe did it. Masters of the Universe did it. She-Ra did it.
Yeah.
You know, and especially M.A.S.K. M.A.S.K. did it as well.
Carry on. Sorry. Yeah. I just had to grab this because you just reminded me that I actually got this week or last week. Now I've got like my setup for my, you know, Tila and my, you know, He-Man. So Adam, so I'm good. I'm good now. I've got my two lead characters from, you know, from the He-Man Motto Masterverse, right? So carry on about that, but Toys Condor the Green Bike.
The next series.
Okay, so he's saying this is Brad Turner, pilot of Condor. All right. Interesting.
Okay.
Condor. So it's not actually off Mask. Is that what you're saying, Rico?
No, he said no. That's a M.A.S.K. character.
Oh, it is. Sorry, I've got my things mixed up. So who's Brad Turner? I thought it was Trakker.
This is one of the characters that's one of the operatives in M.A.S.K. Mobile Attack.
Okay.
Yeah, Strategic Command or something like that. I can't remember what the whole acronym is.
Yeah, so Calhoun Burns beat T-Bob. Oh, actually, I'm looking at the guy who actually played him. So the guy who actually played this character is Graham McKenna.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay. So he's a musician in the thing. Hey, Ricky, if you want to come on, man, I've got a spot for you. It'd be cool. You seem to know more about this than I do, and I'm sure the two of you can like actually, you know, give us more information. But yeah, carry on. Sorry about the PSA. Apologies there.
Yeah, basically the PSAs were there because they had to show some sort of a lesson for children to learn, that it wasn't just it was just all about selling the toys. And most of the cartoons that were based around toys had that kind of life lesson at the end of each one. So, or they incorporated it within the story, you know, pretty heavily. You know, I mean, I don't remember Thundercats doing it very much. I don't remember Thundercats having a PSA at the end of it, but their stories were wrapped around some, you know, life lessons or things that they needed to help teach kids stuff, you know. So yeah, M.A.S.K. itself is kind of a combination of if Transformers and G.I. Joe had a baby, you know, I always think it would be like M.A.S.K. because the vehicles transformed a little bit, transformed into something else, and you had a a secret organization, you know, that was a terrorist, you know, that anti-terrorist organization. So they were pretty cool. They were just they were a little bit too small for the vehicles were just a little bit too small for the G.I. Joe action figures. You know, so I kind of missed out on the um,
Like we're collecting them for the
a lot of the mask the mask toys.
So how big was this show, like in the US?
I think it only did one season. I think they just did one season for them.
Yeah.
No. They have 2 seasons. There was 2 seasons. It's on Tubi TV. I was watching some of it last night.
Oh, okay.
I think they did 2 seasons. I want to say like 60 or 70 episodes.
Yeah.
Let me look up on IMDb. I can tell you a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm there now. So let me see.
Yeah, it came out in 1985. 1985 to 1986.
Let me see. So here we go. So yeah, so Shout TV is playing it now. So that's probably on YouTube. But like, I think
75
so
episodes.
75 episodes. That's pretty cool. I mean, like,
Yeah.
but like this is mid 90s, mid 80s. So this is the heyday. Excuse me. There's a heyday of animation, really, and of toy and what you call it, merchandise related animation. And now, so you got Doug Stone, what you call it. So Mark Halloran, Graham McKenna, as I mentioned, there's a T-Bone character with the one that I've got in my hand, Brad Turner. And you got Sharon Noble as the Mars computer. The other thing, who is this created by? So if usually when they go written by is S.S. Wilson, right? So this is a S.S. Wilson property. Now Kenner is the like toy company that's behind this, right?
I think it was Kenner. I thought it may have been Mattel. I don't remember. I have a.
Let me have a look at the wiki here. So the wiki's
It's Kenner. It's Kenner.
Yeah, so the wiki's got Kenner, but it was animated in Asia by studios KKC and D Asia, and Studio Juno and Studio World and Ashi Production. So it's not. The animation itself, like, it's cheaper to do it overseas. Like, we know that, right? It's cheaper because it's kind of like sweatshop kind of friggin' like at the moment we're realizing, like an anime, that like there's a lot of low pay, hard working burnout situation going on in animation, because you've got Netflix going hard at doing originals, you've got HBO doing originals, you've got, what was it just recently, what are they called? I'm going to show it later, but it's that adult swim. They're going hard over there. So during lockdowns, right, for the 2 years, everybody moved over to, okay, we can't do movies, we can't do live filming. Let's go to animation as quickly as we can and produce a lot of stuff. So everybody that was in streaming jumped ship. And now you've got like a lot of freelancers being hired as part of studios to do jobs. And just recently, this week alone, there was a huge scuffle with Jujutsu Kaisen being leaked, the episodes being leaked because of disgruntled workers, animators. And it's like, what is going on? And what's really going on with this is that you've got a lot of people treating animators like livestock, like, do your job and get the hell out, And so they're getting less pay, they're not treating well. And of course, it's overseas, so you don't have your unions like, SAG-AFTRA or whatever protecting you. You're just there to do a job. But here's the thing, Netflix and all these streamers are American-owned companies. They just wanted they just want the product. They don't really care about the people over there doing the work. They don't care how much they get paid. And of course, when you're doing stuff like this, like in common, modern day, you're trying to get the cheapest, best looking product out. So these studios are like competing against each other to get the cheapest product, win the contract for these shows. And then when they get the contract, they got to, oh crap, now we got the contract. Now we can afford to pay them, and so we're going to pay them less and less. And you're stuck on a contract with the workers. And that's really affecting the way animators are working out here. And like burnout is common, right? It's common in this industry in animation. But I mean, we're looking here, like, talking here about the 80s when like you were getting this freaking, a lot of money behind with the toys. So you were able to afford good product, and you weren't going to be treating people like crap because you've got your toy, right, as the main thing of it, because you're trying to sell merchandise, And what was like the feeling when this came out? Were you like, were you someone that watched it regularly, or?
I didn't get to watch it very regularly when it came out. I was 10 years old. And I was 9 going on 10, and I was living in Fairbanks, Alaska at the time. So
cold.
This didn't get pushed in as much as like G.I. Joe and Transformers did. But I always noticed I was always noticeable of the animation quality. Had been watching beforehand, and I was always aware of M.A.S.K. M.A.S.K. the toy, and I want to say it was a Saturday morning cartoon, not a weekday afternoon cartoon. G.I. Joe was a weekday afternoon. Every weekday afternoon you would watch G.I. Joe and Transformers. M.A.S.K. I don't remember, being able to catch on the afternoons, but that being said, I did, I had a friend of mine had a couple of the toys, and I was able to play with them that way. And when I noticed that G.I. Joe wouldn't fit inside the car, I was kind of out. I was like, I don't want to invest in them because my action figures my main action figures wouldn't fit. But now as an adult, I think they're amazing. I think they're some of the best toys that were ever made. They're really, really cool. They're really cool toys.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this, like, this is like a pin action, right? So when you look at something like this, and you look at the fact that you can lift his head off, helmet off, and you got this little detail figure. He's got his, glasses on. Of course, this was like somebody's beloved toy, right?
Right.
And I was able to pick it up with, on my hunts. But I mean, it's such a, like, over here you got the pins, right, for the knees, and you got this, swing all around, 3.5 inch. And this is a weird thing, right? As you know, that everybody now is slowly going to the smaller figures. So let me see where even recently with DC Comics, right? And also, you got the Avengers and stuff like this. You got little figures here. Where did it go? So, it's pretty, it's pretty small compared to this one here. But look at the details. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The casting is
pretty
great.
neat.
And it's not like something they went cheap out on, like with how much effort they put into it. But I mean, you've got these Batman. What is it called? Find it here. Just looking at it before, these Imaginatex, right?
Oh yeah,
Imaginex, whatever they're called. And so when you look at these figures, they're even smaller than that, right? And it's in comparison. So it's quite a lot of detail for something such a small thing. Small. I mean, something that came out in '85 is what I mean. Like the amount of detail in there. And even now, if you look at like toys now, Let me see what's the most recent, I guess, like one of these. So you've still got pins, right?
Yeah.
In your knees here, and you've still got the whole swinging arm. So there isn't much changed. Of course, you got the round heads, and let me see if this one goes round. Right, you still got the round heads here, but the amount, you look at how small these things are. It's the size of it, almost like size of it, like up to your knees, whatever. But this is probably a better length. So this is, there's a Marvel Legends comparison to it.
Yeah.
But having said that, you didn't get, because the figures didn't fit into G.I. Joe's, did you actually end up buying any?
I never got any of I had one. I had traded when I was little, I traded one of my Jeeps, one of my G.I. Joe Jeeps for one of the cars that I really liked. There was the green 57 Chevy that they had that transformed into a tank. I had that one. I had gotten that one, and that's the only one I ever had. It's the only one I ever played with. Had it for I had it for years. I remember seeing it as an adult, just about 15 years ago or so, and but now it's gone. It's long gone somewhere, So,
Well, I got something for you.
Okay,
is this it?
That's the one. I didn't have the guy. I didn't have the character, the figure.
Yeah,
but I had the 57 Chevy. Yep.
That it's $200.
Man, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So you also had this one here, right? I mean, I'm not this. You also had it, but I mean, let me have a look. This is this. This one at the bottom here. Let me just grab that and grab this other one.
So I have two of them right now. I have two of them on my eBay, page, that are for sale. I'm selling both of them in a lot. I have the well, I don't know I don't have that one.
Send me your link to your store there, and I'll share that so we can show people where they can go if they're interested in that. Right?
Yeah.
Check it over in in the private chat. Then I'll load it up. Now Rico is saying that like M.A.S.K and GoBots were in magazines like Eagle, so I think a lot of their ties were to UK, along with titles like Visionaries, and I'm sure others. It was always very easy to lose their masks through finding them. Now, Oh, right. You mean like this? So you lose their mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and now will be less than 50% chance of getting the mask. Yeah, whenever like there's a problem with little bits and pieces, I find that like when I go to buy Barbie dolls, right, or cannons and stuff,
right,
there's no clothes on the friggin' things. Like seriously, there's no clothes on them, and you're like, people look at you sideways. You're thinking, why are you buying a naked doll? It's like because there's no friggin' clothes on the kids who played with those dolls. They lost them or they hit on some other thing and they don't want to lose that one because that's their, the costume they like on their other doll. So they get, parents pick up whatever they're not playing with and they go, they don't like them anymore. And they end up wherever, But there is, of course, for everything now, there is a nostalgia for the past and there's a nostalgia for us as adults to look for things that made us happy when we were younger, in a way that we could basically go, you know what, it'd be nice to have those toys again. I mean, I'm like that. Like even last night I had this really weird, I was just going to the loo, right? I'm thinking, I remember that time when Dad came to Fiji for the first time and he brought me this friggin' tank that fired actual missiles and it was kind of like a radio controlled one. So it was wired and I wish I had that one back, because that was my first toy that my dad gave me like 40 odd years ago, right? Back, and it would be so cool to just say, hey, look, Dad, I remember that toy. It meant so much for me. I played it all the time, but I don't friggin' have a clue what happened to it, And I was looking for it on eBay last night, going, is this one? I have no idea. And the closest I could get to it's a U.S. Army one, and maybe it's a Shack, Radio Shack one. But it's all green, but it's got a tin top, but it's got the tracks around it is rubber. You know, that's what I know about it, and that it fired 2 friggin' missiles. I mean, it had 2 missiles, but I think it fired one. So you press a button, spring loaded, and fired. I have no idea,
Right.
but this is basically where we're at with the figures. And so things like M.A.S.K, things out of the 80s, as us kids grow up, we're kind of like can afford them now and look back on fondness to the past. Yet, you know, when you're looking at something like this, you know, this cannon from '87, you know, the tow truck that's $150 to try to get it back. But how big are these, Stu?
The cars themselves are pretty decent size. They're probably about 8 inches long. I mean, and they're really good in scale for what they are. The figures themselves are like, I think 2.5 inches, or maybe, you know, you have one, but I mean they're pretty small. So like I got 2 of them right here. Let me show you.
Yep. Sure that. I'm just going to look up your the figure didn't come up when I'll put this. It's got all the spaces in between, so your eBay thing didn't come up right. So let me have a look.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to send you a link from the actual eBay.
Yes, please. That'll be cool.
But yeah, that's the truck. That's one of the trucks I got. This one's from the bad guys. This is one of the bad guy trucks, I believe. And the nice thing is I mean, I think I'm pretty complete on this truck. And I mean it's hard.
What's the name of that one? So I can look it up.
Oh, I just had it. I just had it just a minute ago.
I mean, Kenner really, really, I mean, like, if you really think about it, the details on that truck is even way good, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it fascinates me whenever I look at, like...
This is the jackhammer. This is the jackhammer. Right.
Yeah, so it fascinates me when I look back at all these, you know, older toys, and you kind of look at, you know, how cool they are. And, you know, I mean, that's... In New Zealand, that's about $300, really, right now that's on sale for eBay.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, and that's unopened, right? So if you're looking at things like that, it's like, you know, the cost of something that in the old days would be like, what, $30 maybe, $20, depending on what you're looking at, you know, what you're really after. But I mean, you know, you can get a decent one for out of box. And if you're a toy collector, if you're not really, you know, that anal about things, you'd basically, you know, not worry about if it's in a box or not, right?
Right.
Because you just want to display it.
Oh, yeah.
And have it to show that you got it.
You know, that's one of the things. It's such a cool little, it's such a cool little toy that it, you know, it's fun to mess around with. Buddy of mine in Florida had the 18-wheeler, the big Mack truck looking one, and that one was really cool. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was really just a kick-ass little toy. So there's Hasbro bought Kenner just you know, a few years ago. It's old news. I mean, it's old news. Everybody knows that that we've done that Hasbro did that, and they started incorporating M.A.S.K into the G.I. Joe line.
Yeah. So as you can see, so this is a Hasbro Marvel thing, but it's a Kenner figure, right? There's an original Kenner toy.